everyone, welcome back to my channel. As you all know, it's your girl Sam, and yeah, but then a winter coat, guys. Don't bother ask me why I'm in the house in a winter coat. I just get home from school. I'm saying no before I change my clothes, I just do a quick video because I have been getting a lot of questions asking like the supporting documents that I use for my application, and persons are asking, should I attach this or should I not attach this? And so I decided to do a video sharing a checklist, and this checklist is not exhaustive. It's based on the documents that I submitted when I was doing my application. So if you have more documents, great, you can attach them. So now run go get on a pen, on a paper, on a come and take notes. It's class time. So the first thing I have on my list is you apply for the school, you get your acceptance letter. So you're gonna need your acceptance letter. That is number one. So the acceptance letter, it tells the program that you are accepted into. It tells the length of study. It tells if the institution is on the DLI list, and it gives all the information that the visa officer would need to process your application. The second thing that I have on my list is proof of funds. So for proof of funds, you need your bank statements, guys. So in the last video I did, I spoke about bank statements. So it is a printout of your bank account for the last 6 months. Well, it can be bank account or bank accounts depending on how much you will be using. So, and then the minimum requirement for study permit is 10,000 Canadian dollars for living expenses. But not because it says 10,000, you don't want to show 10,000. The more you show, the better it is for you. So don't try and put more than 10,000. It will help you because, like I said, the more the merrier. So after you get their printout, so what I know is that some people get a bank letter. So the bank letter doesn't show the transaction history. It just tells how when the account was open, how much is in the account, and the last transaction that took place in that account. I know persons that use it and was successful, and others was not successful. But then again, you won't know the reason why you were rejected or refused unless you requested those GSM notes. Yes, you're trying to make your case as strong as possible. The next thing I have on my list is proof of tuition payment or deposit. Some school ask for deposits. I think most schools it's deposits that you have to pay, and some doesn't ask for a deposit to hold your space, but it is good. I paid my tuition in full. It was, I think it was around 18,000 Canadian dollars. I paid everything in full for my first year. So that's the cost for the first year. So when you pay that, it is showing the visa officer that you're serious about studying in Canada. A lot of persons pay this their tuition, probably the deposit. Some pay it in full, some don't pay any, and them still get through. So as I said, it all depends on who is processing your case, but then again, you don't know who's going to process your case. So you want to make your case as strong as possible and not giving them doubts as to whether or not your genuine reason for coming to Canada is to study. So when you pay the tuition, remember, once you pay the tuition, you cannot get back that money from the school unless your visa application was denied or refused, whatever word they use. So if it is refused, then you can get it back. You have a few schools that say that maybe you will lose like 10% or 5% or just a small amount. But most of the schools, once you're denied and you notify the school, you will get back a full refund. So you can do your research when you're searching for schools that you'll be applying to, and look at their refund policy to make sure that you are entitled to receive a full refund if you're denied by the visa officer. So based on this fact, it is known that once you get through with that visa, with your visa, then it is absolutely your intention to study, because like I said, nobody's going to pay $18,000 for tuition fee for the first year, get their visa and come to Canada and just don't come to school. It doesn't make sense. Well, maybe you have a few persons who are, I don't know the word to describe them, but once you pay your money, you get through, you come and you go to school, and then you do what you need to do after. So that is the reason why making a payment, even a deposit or paying the tuition in full, it is very essential go with your application. The next thing I have on my list is letter of explanation. We spoke about this in my last video. The letter of explanation is very, very, very important and should be as detailed as possible. And I'm going to do another video and I'm going to share my letter of explanation with you guys so you can have an idea of what it is, what it looks like, what it sounds like when you read it and everything. So it can give you idea of how to write yours, because like I said, writing a letter of explanation can take you a long time, because you're going to be researching what it should include, and then you're gonna say, oh, probably I should take this out, or probably I should add this. But then you don't want a long letter of explanation. I think 2 to 3 pages should be enough. You don't want to disturb people. Nobody wants to sit down and read in 4, 5, 6, 7 pages of document. So keep it as precise and detailed as possible. So like I said, I will do a video explaining and showing samples of my explanation letter. The next thing I have on my list is your job letter. So if you're employed, please ensure you request a job letter and at least your last 3 pay slips. So the job letter will tell them that, hey, you've been employed and you've been employed for this time, like how many years and all of that. It tells your position, it tells your salary, it tells everything about your job. And the pay slip, what it does, they want to see your pay slip to make sure that you don't have a lot of salary deductions, guy. Because if they see, say for instance, your income is $150,000 on a monthly basis, right? And then your deductions are like 100,000, 120,000, then probably they're going to wonder, then if you have this many deductions and you're studying in Canada, how are you going to finance yourself in Canada and taking care of the bills that you have here? So maybe it doesn't mean anything to some of the officers, but it does mean something to some. So like I said again, I know persons who did not attach any payslip and they were successful in their application. So it all depends on who is processing your case. As a matter of fact, I think this whole thing is like luck, like literally though, because some persons don't have like a lot of the documents that one person might use, another person might not use half the amount of those documents, and they still get through. So again, just pray, have faith, and go through when I do no business. That's how I see it. Another thing that I think is very crucial is your police certificate. People, proving to the visa officer that you have been a lawful citizen to your country means a lot. It means that you, well, not necessarily that you will be lawful in their country, but at least they are assured that you may or can be a lawful citizen in their country. So your police certificate, I would advise everyone to do your police certificate. I don't know the processing time now, but I know when I was doing mine, it was a very lengthy process. So you can check it out when you're about to do yours to make sure that you have it on time, and it lasts for a year, so you can do it ahead of time. And the police certificate, when you go to do it, it's gonna ask if you want it for international or domestic, I think. Yeah, but it's international. You need to walk with your passport. You need 2 passport size photos, and before that you need to pay the fees at the tax office. And when you get that receipt, then you need to go online. When I was doing it, I never need to go online. I had to call to make the appointment. So I don't know if it is still calling, but I know that I saw in a group that I am in that you are now required to set the appointment online. So you guys can also check that out to make sure that's accurate information. But definitely get your police certificate. The next thing that I would say to attach, that I attached to my application, was my resume. I did my resume, so it speaks to my employment history. It tells how long you have been working, you're employed, and all of that. And along with your resume, I attach my qualifications. So if you have 1, 2, 3 degree, or if you whatever you have as proof, make sure you attach those. I also attach a transcript. I got a transcript from UTech and I use that. And so some people didn't actually use a transcript, but if you have it, use it. And I think it's only $1,000 for it. It wouldn't hurt. So you can show the visa officer that this program that you applied for, it is related to what you studied, or even the resume tells that you have been employed in this category or this field for the past how many years, and the program that you will be studying in Canada is actually related to what you have been practicing, or if you know what I mean. And then outside of that, I'm now going to talk about assets. So if you own one property, two property, if you any kind of, oh, before I even go to property, for employment, I'm going to speak specifically to this because I know persons who are not employed, or maybe I should say that they're self-employed, right? So if you're self-employed, guys, that doesn't mean a thing. All you have to do is put everything in your letter of explanation to say that you're self-employed, right? And when you do that letter, you're now going to get a JP, or Justice of the Peace, or whatever you call them, to notarize that letter. So if you are somebody who is rearing animals, you can do a letter to say that, okay, I have been self-employed for X years and this is how I earn my living. You tell what is it you're doing, and you get a Justice of the Peace to notarize that, because not everybody will be working. Not everybody wants to work for people. A lot of persons are doing their own thing and making more than persons who are working, but the visa officers are not going to know that unless you tell them. Because if I am processing a case and I don't see any employment history for you, I don't see anything in your explanation, in your letter of explanation, to state that, oh, I am self-employed, then it's automatically a denial for me, because I am not supposed to go through an application and wondering and thinking you supposed to write that and let them know that, okay, this is what I have been doing, this is how I'm surviving for the past 6 years. So right, guys, get into the habit of writing and explaining yourself and sell yourself. Like I said earlier, consider this whole process like a job interview. Try to sell yourself. And now I'll go back to the assets. So if you own any properties, you want to attach your title, any motor vehicle you can attach. I know most people won't have their motor vehicle titles, but you can attach the registration, you can attach the fitness, you can attach the insurance document, whatever you have to show that you own a motor vehicle, then those are the documents you attach, right? If it is that you don't have any assets, it's also fine. I know people without assets who got through just the same. Like I said, it's about writing and presenting your case truthfully. Guys, don't tell a lie in your application. Like, be truthful. All right, with that being said, I am now going to speak about investments. A lot of persons have investments. The more common ones are like Sagigol, the Investor Plus. I don't know what else there is or there are, but I know there are different types of investments. And when I talk about investments, I'm talking about investments where cash is readily available in the event that you should be in Canada and you need additional funds. You don't want no cash for tie up, or will take you like months and weeks before you can get it. You want something that will be readily available within at least 2 to 3 days. So if you have those, then you can use the statements for those. And if you're going to use a statement for those, make sure if somebody's name is on those investments with you, then you need to get a letter from that other person, whether your spouse, sister, mother. You need to get a letter from that person to state that you have access to that money, because you want to ignore the whole conflict of interest business with them. Because once somebody else's name is on it, they're going to think, oh, there's going to be conflict of interest, because it's not necessarily your money alone. So you need permission from the other person. So you're going to let that person write a letter, and then that person is going to sign that letter. You're going to attach that letter as well. Okay? And it's a similar thing with joint accounts. If you have joint accounts with anybody and you're going to use that as a part of your proof of funds, you need to get a letter also from that person and let them sign that letter, and you attach it as well. So that's that with the investment. Contributions to pension. A lot of persons can get back their pension funds after they resign or leave the company that they're employed to or with. So if it is that you can get back that pension contribution, you can get a letter from your employers, or yeah, from your employers, to say that, okay, over the years or for the last 5 years, Samantha has contributed like say 200,000 towards her pension scheme and whatever. So the letter tells how much you actually pay for pension over the number of years that you're employed with the firm. So I know that the persons are employed with firms for like 10 years, a lot of years. So just get your pension contribution. The more money you show, the better it is. The next thing that I'm going to go to that you need is your enrollment letter. So after you pay your tuition and it's time for you to select, well, once you pay your tuition, you can go ahead and select your courses. You need to select at least 4 courses because you are a full-time student. You have to be a full-time student. So you are going to get that enrollment letter after you select your courses. And when you get that enrollment letter, you're going to attach it, because that letter is going to tell that you are a full-time student. And after you get the enrollment letter, you also need to complete all the relevant applications. You will have to create a GCK account, and there are some forms that you will need to download and complete. I'll get into that in another video also. And you need a photograph, and you need your passport, of course, with all the stamped pages or any visa in that passport. You need to copy everything and attach those as well. So I don't know if I mentioned the statement of account. So after you pay the tuition, you get a statement of account from your school portal as well, and you attach that also. So like I said, this list is not exhausted. There are other things that persons might have that they might think is useful or beneficial to their application. So you can attach it. The stronger your case is, the better it is. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Turn on those notification bells so you get all my latest videos. And don't forget to like, share, comment. You know what the thing go already. So I'll see you in my next video. Thank you all.